universities in regions. Is that funding is only problem or something else? What is stopping us from investing more money in hospitals? Don't we have money? Or don't we have a heart? What is the problem? I don't know. But this is a question in my mind. But reconciliation is a very... Developing a country is easy. But however, developing a country after a war is very, very difficult. But the media freedom, the emergency law, those things cannot be relaxed until these things come to normal, because otherwise the leaders will be in trouble. That's my belief, right? But to do that, I think the opposite way would be better. If you have a proper political system in country, I don't know whether you believe the current political system, regardless of terrorism, regardless of war, would be sufficient enough, as you spoke before, to provide a happy life to all citizens. Do you think the current system will provide a happy life to all citizens, regardless of race, religion? But we haven't got that. We haven't enjoyed that for a long time. So the people to enjoy that freedom and happy life, there must be some changes in the political system. For example, the electoral system was created not only selecting the members to rule the country. The main purpose was the MP to go to his electorate and develop his electorate, link with the people. That is not happening to Sri Lanka. That's my belief. So something should be done to change the culture. Because if the MPs are living in Colombo or Katranga or Kandy, if they don't know about their own electorate, how are they going to develop it? They had to live with the people.
Okay, no, I think all your points are very valid. What I suggest is you should read my earlier work on behalf of the Liberal Party and join the Liberal Party. Because all your points are extremely valid.
I know that.
Yeah. So that's, but then, I'm talking for myself now. But yeah, no, political system is a complete mess. We know that. The electoral system is a wicked system. In fact, it's a very wicked system. You see, one of the problems was first past the post led to unrepresentative majorities, both in 70 and in 1977. And those governments ended up being the least successful in Sri Lankan history. I personally believe that the 70 to 77 government was wrong because it was following outdated economic and social policies, which happened to be fashionable at the time. You know, in the 60s and 70s, I don't know how old you are, but most people grew up with the view that state-based socialism was the answer to everything. You know, we were told how wonderful North Korea was and all in those days. But that was a mistake. Unfortunately, the 77 government, although it opened up the economy, it was, I think, a good thing, didn't open up the government or didn't open up society and economics to the private sector. It only opened up business. So education, health, all those took a long time. To me, one of the biggest problems is the idea that government must do everything. And in Sri Lanka, the problem was government had to do everything, which is incapable of doing because there are no alternatives. There is no private sector.
No, I object that. Because the government has to devote the power. Then, government doesn't have to take the responsibility. Because at the moment, the whole...
No, I agree with you. Okay. But what I'm saying is that devolving of power should not only be to other governments and other politicians. The devolving of power has also got to be to individuals.
Correct.
So, you know, again, I'll give you a very simple example. Why should both the central government and the provincial government stop people from doing good things? We have too many controls. So my view is that while there is a role for central government, and I believe very strongly that all security matters need to be governed by the central government, there is a massive role for provincial governments and other governments. For instance, take education. Again, sorry, I go back to that. But education, things like schools, neither the provincial government nor the central government knows the needs of the school. It should be the community that communicates the need, we need teachers, etc. But more important is the role for private enterprise in all these areas. To be able to do education, to be able to do plantations, to be able to do industry without too much interference. So that is one way where governance is not only about who is the government, but about the limits of control on the pricing qualities of the people. Some areas will move more quickly, others will move less quickly. But what government has to do is to make sure that people have the potential to exercise those rights, which is why government has a role to ensure free education, free health. I do take issue, when you say health and education, I don't think that's quite correct, because although our education system at the highest levels is bad, the primary area has continued very good, and the statistics for the rural areas, Sinhala or Tamil or whatever, have got much better at primary. And the buildings, even the hospitals, if you look at the development of hospitals all over the country, our national health services are fantastic.
No, I can't accept that, because I'll tell you this, my mother, now she has to come from Jaffna to Colombo to a normal cataract operation. Because the operation in Jaffna, it was not successful. She has to travel. So that is the hospital.
No, that I would agree with, but that is one instance.
No, just an only example.
Exactly. But can I tell you that, I have a place outside Colombo. The local hospitals do most things correctly. But on things like eye specialists, on things like certain tests, there are restrictions. But it's better than it was 30 years ago. I think we need to recognize that. Again, medical faculties, when you say government started universities, government has started universities all over. Many people don't know that in addition, when you and I were young, we only had 2 universities, then it became 4. But now every province has a university, at least. Most provinces have 2 or 3. So many people don't know, for instance, that Babunia actually has a university college, which works quite well. And Kilinochchi is going to have an engineering faculty soon. Trinco has something. One of the major problems we face is getting staff for those. You see, one of the biggest problems we have is people won't go and teach. We had Jaffna University for the first time ever since it had been established, I think, in the 70s. Jaffna University came to cope in Parliament last week. And you can see the progress. They had great difficulties. They have gone a long way. So I'm not saying that we can't do better. And my point is, the more we release the private sector, for instance, Jaffna, if we allow private endowments for the medical faculty, like Morato has done this. Morato University is Sri Lanka's best university. It works with the private sector. It has got chairs endowed by the private sector. That is technically possible, but none of the other universities have done this. So I hope we'll have a situation where Jaffna, which has a very good faculty at the moment in some areas, will start working with private sector, including the private sector abroad, to get facilities direct. And the present UGs, you see, only in the 70s this wasn't allowed. You can't have private sector involvement. All that is changing, but we need to release the energies of the senior academics and get them to liaise with people like you. For instance, when the engineering faculty is set up, it would be marvelous if you here were able to collect funds and contribute direct, so that anything they might need could be provided from the Association of Engineers in Australia.